Great good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful Tuesday, June 16, year of our Lord 20 and 26. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he. Broadcasting today from the United States of America. I could prove it because we stopped a terror plot that was designed to kill the people at the White House UFC event. It's also the place where the brave, like the veterans we will salute today, having lost them this year, but celebrating them thanks to John Basiliga and his Serenity Care senior living community. Like Gerald Mahalchik, Tunkhannock, Mark Umfred, Wilkes-Barre, and Harold Williams, Stillwater. The United States of America, founded with a certain knowledge and understanding by our amazing, irreplaceable, and profoundly wise founding fathers who knew that government should not be, and then they insisted it would not be, our parent, our guide, our direction, our salvation. Not any of these things. Because they knew that government power, because of human nature, should only be a necessary evil designed to protect and organize society. The United States of America, the country where for the first time in human history, freedom was declared by law, by Constitution, to be an unalienable right, meaning they cannot take it away, to be granted to each individual by God. It could not be parceled out to groups. It could not be controlled by government or government officials, because our great American Constitution ensures and codifies freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, economic freedom, and freedom of the press, no matter how they abuse it. Now, because they were so armed with these freedoms, and only because of that fact, a ragtag bunch of immigrants, many of them rejects from around the world, they and their progeny created the richest, most powerful, most culturally diverse and accepting nation ever to grace our planet Earth. America, the only place specifically invented and designed so that every American can live their life in the manner they choose. Unlimited by their background, upbringing, race, color, or creed. Unhindered by the government or those who would use government to control others for their own comfort, benefit, or power. This Bob Cordaro Show, well, it's always going to be convincingly conservative, lovingly logical, proudly and passionately patriotic, and reliably right. Yeah, the double entendre is intended. And so, with the essential preamble dealt with, we gavel to order today's meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that our total, immersive, immovable commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity to all of you who hearken here for the balance of this singular, extraordinary morning. And yes, they all are when you wake up alive. Well, a great day yesterday. It's a funny thing. When I'm done with the show, because everything's in it, which maybe you could tell some days more than the others. So I said, I've got to see this. I just like to go home. And I go home to Chauncey, and I hang around with the dog, and I watch the cable shows and switch back and forth, and I stay on my email that all you guys send me and my texts, finding out what's going on. You guys give me so much information. It's actually like drinking from a fire hose, but thank you. So many of you contributing. But that's what I'd prefer to do. But yesterday I said, I've got to see what's going on at Steamtown. Because I meant it the other day when I said, this is actually yesterday when David DeCosmo was on, this is the culmination of everything that everybody who brought Steamtown, both as a private nonprofit, and then as a park, Congressman Joe McDade, a, a, a national park. This is what they wanted. This is the greatness they wanted to achieve. So I said, all right, I'm going to take the extra half hour, 45 minutes in the car because I know it's going to be crowded. I'm going to drive down Lackawanna Avenue and just check it out. Well, it was a zoo. It was incredible. And I mean in a positive sense. There were that end of Lackawanna Avenue near the Scranton Art House and beyond, and of course at the marketplace, jammed. Just people, life, excitement. And I mean, people seemed to be waiting patiently. They had to wait for hours. And I'm sure it's going to be the same thing today. And it was just, to me, fabulous to bring that many people. It was like having, I'm telling you, it had to be over 10,000 people down there. More than 10,000. Because that's how many were waiting. Then you have the people, thousands milling about, because I guess there's times to get in on your tickets. And then you had the thousands that were in the park. It was incredible. I was just impressive and exciting to see. So this big boy reunion is it's the culmination of everything. The people like Jimmy McNulty, who stole the park from Bellows Falls, Vermont, and had a big idea. He had many of them. And Joe McDade brought to fruition to Scranton and frankly, all of Northeast Pennsylvania. And it is fabulous. It is fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. If you've got the time, I urge you to do it. I urge you to do it. So then, my mother has a little party, and I said, well, this is a great week. I got to be with my parents 3 days in a row now. But at her house, she had a little miniature troop high school reunion. And a guy named Bill Herron was there, and he's been a golf pro for years in Charlottesville, North Carolina, and then in Florida. And he listens to the show, and he's aware of the show, and he said he wanted to give me some Trump wine because it's produced in Charlottesville. And the Trump wine, I may have mentioned this before, I figured it's going to be schlocky. You know, whatever. They're just slapping the name on and whatever. Well, they've got a Cabernet that's outstanding. And he brought me a bottle of the Cabernet. And that was great. And just seeing these, there was 3 women who I knew, and Bill and my father and mother, of course. And that was just such a pleasant time to spend with them and get to know Bill and all that. But really great. And I see the time, which means I've got to go to a break. So I will. And then I went to the Mike Munchak golf tournament. I mean, you talk about a full day. We'll talk about that when I come back because that was great stuff. Truly great stuff. Good gang for United Way of Lackawanna, I think Lackawanna and Wayne counties, their benefit. And we discovered yesterday that the Mike Munchak golf tournament has raised over $1,500,000 for United Way since its inception 30 years ago. Amazing. We'll talk about that when we come back, and much more, obviously. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. I'm a little raspy, but I'm here, baby. Gary U.S. Bonds. Murph tells us on this date, 1960, they played their hit Quarter to Three on the television show American Bandstand. Not quite the Sinatra version we play here. Well, which the Bulldog forgets to play, I should say. The guy didn't try to imitate Abraham Lincoln, but that was Abraham Lincoln. In 1858, this date, he accepted the Illinois Republican Party nomination for U.S. Senate. And he said, as was quoted there, on the slavery issue, it's got to be resolved. The House divided itself against itself cannot stand. And he made it so. So I go up, and again, I want to be home. I'm telling you, I do. But I go up to Elmhurst Country Club, which threw on a great party. It's a great golf course, great facility. Anyway, we go up there where the tournament is. So Big Mike is right there, pat him on the back. But he's got so many obligations because there's people who see him once a year, and he's an NFL Hall of Famer. He was a star when he was just here in high school. Anyway, guys that have been coming in for him from even before the golf tournament. His buddies, who he played at Penn State with and had befriended in the NFL and all of that. And so I've known them for that long, too, with a little break in the middle there. But anyway, I go up there, and one of the first guys I run into is Vic Fangio, defensive coordinator of the Eagles and former head coach of Denver. Mike was his line coach, and they were together for 3 years doing that. Of course, Mike was also an NFL head coach. And so many great guys. They had such a great gang at Penn State. They had, and so Rick D'Amico comes in every year. Of course, you know him, the Monday Mensch, Chet Parlavecchio. He was there livening everything up. His man, Randy, Dan Bondi, guys that starred for this Penn State team, and they come every year. And it's sort of their reunion. It's a Munchak family reunion. It's a United Way reunion. It's just absolutely fabulous. The Scranton Central football reunion. I'm sort of an honorary member there. My man John Bonora was there. Guys like Robbie Gavin, Joe Brune. You got people that you don't see. Kirk Candle. Mike Bukikio was there. I'd seen him in a long time. This great guy. My buddy Dave Zankner, who I played with at high school. It was a reunion and a blast. So after that, I didn't golf because I didn't have time, obviously, between Steamtown and the Troop High School reunion. I didn't have time. So that was the end of it. So now Chester and I want to go smoke cigars. Well, they stay down at the Mohican. So there's a courtyard there because they don't allow cigar smoking. This actually ticks me off royally. There's not very many places to smoke cigars. There's an outdoor place, but it was closed because it was a Monday. It's called Embers or something. So, but they found a courtyard in the hotel. No drinks or whatever, but you sit there and you can have cigars. And these guys played cards. I watched. Parlavecchio announced, and it was absolutely fabulous. It was so great to see Mike with his family, all his nephews and everything else, and just have him back in town. But just a great group of people, and a great, great day. And I got home I didn't get home till 11:30 because at a casino they don't have clocks, and all of a sudden, ba-boom. Look what time it is. Because I did have my Picardo jeweler watch on, but I just didn't notice it or something. And I realized it's 11 o'clock. I said, if I gamble at all, it's going to be 3 o'clock in the morning. I won't even know what the hell hit me. So I got home anyway. But great day. And I'm telling you, this Steamtown thing, but please don't let anybody tell you there's nothing going on around here. Anybody says that, tell them you're living under a rock and you've chosen to do so. Why, I don't know, but you've chosen to do so. By the way, on the Steamtown thing, somebody texted in. There's a lot of political texts. I will get to those. But they say, somebody's Bob, don't switch to the Trump wine. You'll miss the Kool-Aid you've been drinking all this time. Very good. Very good. That's cute enough. Somebody said, Bob, for your throat, try some hot tea. And the honey, I'm having the honey. I'm having my mulberry bush honey. Yes, I am. So thank you, Tom. But somebody says, WNEP interviewed a young couple from England who came to see the big boy with their Dunder Mifflin bucket hats on. True tourists taking in all Scranton offers. I'm telling you, this is fabulous. Somebody said, I'm not sure if anybody out there can shed some light on this. Well, this audience, they can. The thousands and thousands and thousands listening, I'm telling you, there's brilliance in the audience. And somebody always knows the truth or the deal. But they say, shed some light on it. But in regards to Steamtown and viewing Big Boy, a lot of the tickets are for specific timing and time per on their tickets. Now, let's continue the text because I do want to clarify this. Nancy was telling me a little bit about it as I came in. The last time being 2:30. Are they extending this through the evening for people who have tickets? There's no way people are making their viewing time per the time on their tickets. I think they are. I don't know that. But if anybody knows or was there or knows somebody that was there, tell us the latest time that people got in there. I'm sure it was open right through daylight because you could not send that many people through. You just couldn't. It was tens of thousands, literally. And people were still arriving. It was fabulous. But it was all orderly. The cops had things in good hands. It was good. It was really a great thing. But, yeah, if anybody knows how late you could go in, let us know. But, yeah, if 2:30 is the last printed time on the tickets, you're going to wait a couple hours. Now, I'm going to go to the marketplace in Steamtown, which I go to all the time anyway because I love it. And I'm going to go out on the back. They have a beautiful walkway over the tracks, and I'm going to see if I can see it from there. Not necessarily today, but maybe when it dies down and it's farther vision. And then I'm on the 30th when it leaves town. I've got to go somewhere. I'll check with the Cosmo on the viewing sites. I've got to go somewhere to see it. It really is great. So a great day was Monday. Never decry a Monday. They can be great if you let them be. We'll take a break. We'll be back. Our Veterans Tribute, the weather, and as always, more. Our Veterans Tribute this hour as with every hour, this day as with every day, dutifully, loyally, patriotically, brought to you by our man, John Basiliga. Today, it's Tuesday. We feature Serenity Care, a personal care community, senior living on a level we haven't seen here. It is the gold standard of senior living in Northeast Pennsylvania. Mid-Valley of Lackawanna County, Old Forge, Wyoming, Kingston. Dementia care units at the Mid-Valley and Kingston locations. All four of these facilities have been completely renovated. They're gorgeous, I'm telling you. I've been through all. They're gorgeous. Renovated and out there accepting new residents. All-inclusive monthly rent. This is big. Individually controlled heating and cooling in each resident room. Daily housekeeping, laundry service. Restaurant quality meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Dignity. Comfort for your seniors. John has a passion for providing the highest quality senior care in this area, and he's achieved it with Serenity Care. Gerald Mahalchik. He was 86. We lost him June 7th. He was from Tunkhannock. He's survived by his wife for 57 years, Violet Kowaleski Mahalchik. Born in Carbondale, Gerald was a proud graduate of Mayfield High School. He served this country with honor in the United States Army Reserves, showing his dedication and commitment to his country. For many years, Gerald worked as a finance supervisor for the United States Post Office, Kearney, New Jersey. Murph's hometown. That's where his father was a cop there in Newark. An avid sports enthusiast, he found great joy in traveling alongside his beloved wife. He loved reading. It provided him continual enlightenment and enjoyment throughout his life. He also found pride and fulfillment in his involvement with the great Knights of Columbus, an organization that reflected his values of faith and community service. Gerald Mahalchik, our great veteran, and his tribute this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and his great Serenity Care senior living community. AccuWeather forecast brought to you by the great gang at Montage Mountain Resort. The water park is open. It is great. The food is great. The atmosphere is outstanding. It's just a cool place to relax and cool off in the heat of the summer. Today, sunny to partly cloudy. Nice afternoon for outdoor activities. It'll be 76. Tonight, a brief shower or two late, low 54. Tomorrow, a blend of sun and clouds with a thunderstorm in spots in the afternoon. Gusty winds can accompany any downpour. 78 degrees, low 63. Thursday, clouds and breaks of sun, windy and humid with a heavy gusty thunderstorm. Storms can bring flash flooding and damaging winds. High 86, low 60. Friday, intervals of clouds and sunshines with a passing shower in the afternoon. High 78, low 57. Saturday, mostly sunny and breezy at times. High 75, low 51. So a good week, and Montage tells us they're ready for you. It's 63 degrees at Montage Mountain right now. You know the deal. When we hear that great, happy, upbeat song, when you think sunshine, you think Tina Morocco. I ran into my friend Marty Murphy. He says, I've got to talk to this girl that's on your radio show, Tina Morocco. I said, it's Muracco. She's a global sales advisor, Sotheby's International, Naples, Florida. You could reach her through Sotheby's International in Naples or go direct. Tina Morocco, Muracco.com. That's her website, or Tina Morocco, same spelling. Any social media, she's your trusted guide to Florida real estate, specializing in Southwest Florida. And here she is. Tina, how are you?
I'm fabulous, Bob. How are you?
Well, it was great yesterday. I got to give you an extra plug because Walking on Sunshine was in our music history.
Oh my
so
gosh.
we got to
hear that.
I got to brag about you. So so now
Well,
here
thank
you are live. Tell us what's on your mind. What's happening?
Oh my gosh. Well, I just had a nice closing in Naples Park, which was great. And buyers from Philadelphia, actually. So go Pennsylvania. So anyway, today I want to talk about wine. And
I'll never stop you.
So I know we have a lot of wine lovers in Northeast PA and Florida. And so I was thinking about this and how different wine collecting can be and wine rooms can be in the two places. So typically in Northeast PA, we see, the wine cellars, the beautiful old wood, the rich tones, and just a traditional wine cellar. In Florida, we don't have basements. So we can certainly have wine rooms that mimic the cellars. But what's happening here now is that we're doing a lot more of wine room installations. And so they're almost like artwork. And so a lot of times, they're beautiful. A lot of times people really want to show off their wine collection. So when you walk into their house or their condo, it's one of the first things you see. And a lot of times it's glass floating shelves, temperature controlled, and you kind of just see through the wine racks into the view typically out there. And so they can be beautiful and colorful, or a lot of the ones that I'm seeing now are mixing a lot of the natural tones and a lot of woods in there along with the glass to make it transparent. But it's amazing how much, how big wine collecting is here. And especially since, we don't have traditional wineries here. It's too hot to grow, most of the grapes that we know. I mean, there's a lot of fruit wines here, but it's not like the traditional wines that we think of.
Nobody makes homemade wine down there, do they?
It's hard because, it's homemade wine, too. You got to pay attention to it, and it's got to be a certain temperature. But anyway, what we're seeing is a lot of people transporting their wine collections from, the northeast, or even from California. They're coming to Florida, and we have special companies here that transport wine collections because we do have a lot of collectors here. And, some of the collections can be, very, very expensive and, and very, a lot of nostalgia, too, for some people when they've been collecting for decades sometimes. And so we have these companies that transport them, but we also have big companies here that have wine vaults. And so they're hurricane-proof wine vaults, temperature-controlled, generator backups. As you can imagine, it's just something, only in Florida.
So you don't have to have a wine room or a wine cellar, which nobody has.
No.
But
you don't
so
have
there's
to.
companies you could turn to for transportation and storage. Fantastic.
And storage, exactly. And so one of the big things, and, around here, we have in Naples, we have one of the largest wine festivals in the world, and that's the Naples Winter Wine Festival. It's a charity festival, a wine auction that happens at the end of January. It benefits the Naples Children's Fund, and it raises last year it raised $36 million.
Oh, my God.
It's been around since, I know, it's been around since to the early 2000s, and it benefits children in Collier County. It's a foundation that really it gives to nonprofits, local nonprofits, children education, children's health, that type of thing. But over the years, I saw that they've raised $366 million through this wine festival. And the wine festival is held at the Ritz-Carlton Tiburon, so the golf club,
Mm-hmm.
every year. And it's just spectacular. The wine lots that they auction off are absolutely incredible, but they also auction off luxury cars. They auction off, last year, one of the big prizes was a seven-day trip on a huge yacht. As you can imagine, that went for millions. It was, it's an incredible organization, but it just shows you how big wine collecting is here, and how, I know they're selling tickets already, and it sells out, this wine festival.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Well, you know what? You've got the arts. You've got so many
Mm-hmm.
things going on there. It would only be natural that wine
Mm-hmm.
would be a big part of the whole package in the Naples
Mm-hmm.
area. Yeah.
Yeah,
Neat, neat.
definitely.
I've never been
Definitely.
able to collect wine because I drink it too fast.
You and me both.
Oh, well, that's neat
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. So, look up these wine rooms are extraordinary. If you
Uh,
start to Google them, the designs that they're doing are absolutely incredible. And
and I've noticed
not
on your
just in dining
Instagram
rooms.
feed, you are showing some decor and
Mhm.
other items instead of just listings. It's pretty neat.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's a big part of real estate is, staging and design and, new construction. It's just different in South Florida as opposed to other parts of the country. And it's great to be able to showcase that.
Neat stuff. Well, Tina, thank
Mhm.
you so much.
Oh, you're welcome,
Wine. I
Bob.
didn't know wine would come up.
You never
I
know.
love it. Love it. Learn something
All right.
new every time you're on. We'll talk to you in a couple of days. We look forward
Sounds
to it.
good.
Thank you.
Take care, Bob.
Tina Morocco, Global Sales Advisor, Sotheby's International Realty in Naples. You can reach her through Sotheby's or go right to the source. Tina Morocco, Muracco. Go to her website, tinamorocco.com, or any social media, you'll find Tina Morocco. Right, Marty Murphy? You'll find her. We'll be back. Ray Charles. The number one R&B hit with I Can't Stop Loving You. This date, 1962. Bob Cordaro back with you. My man PJ LaBelle reminds me, and I forgot about it. So you may or may not remember Mark Payne, our good buddy, and really Scranton. He just loves Scranton, just as I do. But he came on the air and he said, "Hey, let's do everyone. If you live in a particular area, you go in to vote, write yourself in as a committee person." Well, I said, "Yeah, that's a great idea." So I go in to vote, and I write myself in. Didn't give it a second thought. It was almost robotic. Mark said to do it, I did it. Wouldn't you know, I'm a committee man. And there's already a meeting Wednesday. And it's funny because all your friends are running against each other to be chairman, co-chairman, all this other stuff. And so I've got to probably go to the meeting. And so I'm going to curse Mark Payne if I'm there. But the good side, it's at our Carol and Janelle's. So the food's going to be great. The pizza's going to be great. But, yeah, I'm on the committee. Now, I just thought of it now. I said the extra good thing about this is that means at least I've won my last election. You know, prior to that, lost for county commissioner. And so now I've won my last election. It was one vote. It was just mine. But a victory is a victory, and we'll take it home. Somebody said, Bob, don't be smoking cigars if you got a sore throat. Well, my throat is not sore. But then, you know, when you're with Chet Parlavecchio, you're yelling and screaming, and he's yelling louder. But I'm smoking cigars, so it might be from that. I don't know. They said, Bob, no cigars when you have a sore throat. We love hearing that famous voice. Well, it's going to have to be raspy because I may have a cigar today again. And I don't think that's what's doing it. But in any event, somebody else texts in, oh, good. Thanks, Tina, to our friend Tina Morocco. Finally, a spot to store my collection of Boone's Farm and Mad Dog 2020. I love it. All right. Hey, I look down. My Picardo's watch says 10 o'clock. And remember, it's not just one watch. It's Dads and Grads Week. We're hoping to talk to Alex Picardo today if they're not too busy at 10:35. But they've got Raymond Weil, Breitling, Oris, Longines, Michelle, Shinola, Luminox, Swiss Army, Seiko, Ball Watches, a new brand, Tory Burch, Victorinox, Bulova, G-Shock, and of course, my favorite, the Picardo watch. It tells me it's time for the news. 10 o'clock and change. We'll be back after that with Brian Hughes. Bunch of texts about the Iran deal that I want to get to. We'll be back. great good morning, everyone. 10:09 on my Cordaro Jewelers watch. This beautiful Tuesday, June 16, year of our Lord 2026 here in the great Northeast. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and honor, with the help of our man John Basiliga and his great Serenity Care senior living community, the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like the veterans we've lost this year, but salute today, thanks to John. Like Gerald Mahalchik, Tunkhannock, Mark Umfred, Wilkes-Barre, and Harold Williams, Stillwater. So with history, our amazing founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order after that brief news adjournment. Today's meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that our deep and unalterable commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity to all who hearken here. So it's just so typical. They're working on by the way, somebody asked, was Gary Drapek at the United Way? He's the former CEO. Gary was there. Good man. Always great to see him. I don't know the new head. We've had her on the show. I don't know her well, but she was there. Yeah, the whole gang was there. It's good stuff. Really good stuff. In any event, a couple of texts. Morning, Bob. Unfreezing Iran's assets, including billions of dollars for a deal, is only bad when Obama does it, right? Now, this is another texter. Obama released $1 billion in frozen Iranian assets. No. That's false. He erased many billions. He sent, at our expense, $1.4 billion in cash on pallets to Iran, which was used to subsidize terrorism of the Houthis, Hezbollah, and Hamas. He also unfroze billions of dollars of assets. He also allowed the flow of oil to resume. And Iran built up under this fake JPTOA or whatever the hell you want to call it. He let them build up their ballistic missile program, which was actually the problem. And it never slowed their development of nuclear. Never. Please do not compare this to things you're hearing from the left-wing media. Now, the deal has not been disclosed yet. That's number one. So you're grasping at straws just like Obama is, because Trump got a better deal by 70,000 miles than his idiotic administration did. Remember John Kerry running around begging to get a deal done so he could win the Pulitzer or the Peace Prize, the Nobel Peace Prize? You remember that shenanigans? Remember investigating senators and intimidating them to get their vote in Congress? You remember all of that. Now, number two, not only was the JTPOA a disgraceful, horrible agreement that did nothing to slow Iran down, it gave cover to their ballistic missile testing and development, which was the main problem, and was building to the point, along with drone capacity, that you would not have been able to assail them without massive losses in just a few months from now, which is why Trump had the guts to do it now, before the midterms instead of waiting and losing American lives after the midterms. Number two. Might be on number 5 by now. Number 3. There are $25 billion. And by the way, let's not even forget the sickening, disgusting disgrace of the Biden administration. And by the way, Obama did this on the heels of the same failed negotiating process and tactic of the Clinton administration with North Korea, which allowed them and actually gave them the money to develop nuclear weapons and ballistic missiles. We already knew this is a failed strategy. We already knew it. And Obama did it anyway. And now that's why he's running around desperately trying to pretend, oh, nothing has changed. This is just like our deal. Oh, no, a lot has changed. Their capacity to develop metals and produce metals that are used in a lot of the missiles and a lot of the armaments that they used or tried to use against us and their neighbors, they're all destroyed. Their capacity for drone development and ballistic missile development has been set back dramatically because the facilities that produce them are destroyed. Their Navy is destroyed. Their air defense system is destroyed. This is night and day. There's not even a fair comparison. You're making an ass of yourself. Now, if they perform, if they behave like a normal nation, there's $25 billion more in unfrozen assets. Not the $180 billion, $200 billion in oil profits that Biden let them have. Not the $15 billion, $16 billion in frozen assets that Biden let them have for nothing. For nothing in return. $25 billion in assets currently frozen could be freed if they meet certain benchmarks. That's number one. But they've got to meet benchmarks. They've got to behave like a normal nation. Number two, the $300 billion reconstruction figure that's being thrown around is not our money. It's Middle East money. Please don't tell me that's no difference. It isn't our money. It's the Middle East powers saying, hey, we'll help reconstruct Iran. That's it. Done. So you've been lied to, or you're stupid, or you want to be stupid. That's why there's not a peep from Republicans. You're the hypocrite. You're the fool. Once again, because it's Trump, because your Democrats have failed horribly, disgustingly, you think you've got a point. No, you don't. This is not even apples and oranges. This is night and day. Somebody pointing out, good for you. Obama's speech on bringing Iran into the fold of the international community, that's a sickening. When you say international community, you're an idiot, okay? Period. But they continue. Bringing Iran into the international community is almost word for word the same as Clinton's on North Korea. And the results were going to be identical until Donald Trump's balls stepped into the breach. Yeah. And he knew it had to be now because the nuclear weapon was imminent. The imams and their religion, I'll repeat this till the cows come home. And the imams and their religion said, it is our duty to bring about our version of the apocalypse, which is the 12th imam returning. And to do that, we need massive chaos caused by us using a nuclear weapon against Iran, against the entire Middle East, whoever is vulnerable, whoever we hate the most. Let's irradiate the whole oil supply. And guess what? We've got ballistic missiles that could go 2,500 miles. We could reach Paris. So stop your lies. Stop being stupid. This is night and day different than what Obama did and his agreement, and he will lie till the cows come home. He's become a disgusting human being. That's number one. And number two, your guy, Joe Biden, not only gave Hamas over $700 million, he allowed Iran to earn $200 billion in oil sale profits. He allowed Iran to get $16 billion in unfrozen funds for no return. They used it to develop ballistic missiles, drone capacity, and nuclear weaponry. Trump had to put it down because of your asses. And now you want to talk about that? My God. It's insane. You people are insane. And by the way, these facts are falling off of you and bouncing off you because you probably have your fact flak jacket on. It's a frightening, frightening occurrence. Wake up, realize that your guys and their policies suck all across the board, and either change your party or change your party. We'll be back. I had to see how far they took this. Huh. Zager and Evans. I love that song. This date, 1969. I don't think I ever listened to it before, so thank you for indulging me. They released their hit 2525. My gosh, what optimism from hippies. 95, really? They think the Earth's still going to be around. Fascinating. Oh, that's a neat song, though, isn't it? Bob Cordaro back with you on the eponymous program at 10:29 on my Picardo Jewelers watch. Is there something about Michelle Obama suing somebody because she got called a man? I'm getting texts about it, but I haven't seen the story. And I'm shocked that somebody didn't send it to me, but Body Shop Guy says, if Michelle Obama sues anyone about being called a man, I want to see 5 independent DNA tests proving she isn't. Sounds fair. That's the Body Shop Guy. Back to some more serious subjects. Joe from Trip Spark says, if Trump pulls off this Iran deal and it holds up during his presidency, this will be the first time in my lifetime we went in the Middle East, got the job done, and left in months without paying them or turning it into a forever war. You're right. Now, on the other side of the coin, voted for Trump 3 times. He's caving in, rolling over, turning on Bibi. What is he doing? I'm as pro-Israel as anybody gets. But I'm pro-America first, and so is Trump. The job may not be done because there's not a complete regime change. But the Israelis wiped out 2 and even 3 levels of Iranian psycho leadership. And they could do more. So, what do you want? Perfection? Seriously. And Israel's interest is not completely ours. And I will say this, I will guarantee there is no requirement of Israel to not go into Lebanon, for example, go into Beirut, attack Hamas or Hezbollah, and defend themselves. There's no requirement. So I don't know where this goes, and let's find out. Can we find out? Can we take a damn breath and find out what's in the agreement? And also, in my view, since we know they're not going to abide by it without force, how we will react to it. Now, the problem is, in terms of reaction, we're not going to have Trump as president forever. So the reaction won't be violent and decisive. You saw what Obama and Biden did. You saw what Clinton did in North Korea. They let these people, these sickos, develop weaponry and defense systems and armaments that made them a true threat. So, and gave them the money to do it. Provided the cash to do it. In North Korea, it was under the guise of feeding their starving people, who they were starving intentionally. But it was used for nuclear weapons and ballistic missiles to deliver the nuclear weapons. How'd that work out? What did Iran use the money that Obama and Biden provided them? They use it for ballistic weaponry, ballistic technology. They used it for drone technology and drone construction, and to further their nuclear bomb fantasies. Trump stopped all that, period. Forever? Obviously not. For as long as the eye can see, I'll guarantee it. Unless we elect a Democrat next in 28, I guarantee they'll be back at it. There's a huge difference in leadership. If Kamala Harris won the presidency, the nuclear weapons that Iran developed would have already been used in blackmail to the world economy, or been used in reality in Israel and probably Saudi Arabia. Those are the facts, Jack. That's the sad fact. And the Democrat foreign policy establishment is insipid, weak, naive, and in the end, stupid. And they've harmed us every time there's been a Democrat president. Go back to Lyndon Johnson, Jimmy Carter, Bill Clinton. He was in relatively peaceful times. Huge mistake in North Korea. So what are you talking about? Seriously. And you're going to criticize something that isn't even finalized, number one. You're going to go by reports on CNN? My God. This is crazy stuff. All right. Let's take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We'll come back. We got some phone calls to get to. We got a Veterans Tribute. We got the weather. And then your calls, 570-883-0098 to call or to text. our Veterans Tribute this hour, this day, brought to you by our man John Basiliga. It's Tuesday, so we feature another of his great companies, the Serenity Care Personal Care Community. It's senior living facilities in Mid-Valley, Old Forge, Wyoming, Kingston. John has a passion for providing the highest quality senior care in the area and beautiful personal care homes for seniors to live in, and he's achieved it with Serenity Care Senior Living Community. Dementia care units at Mid-Valley and Kingston. Living with dignity as a senior, having your family member live that way, it is a gift. Serenity Care gives that to you and your family, and to you if you so choose. Serenity Care, the gold standard of senior living in Northeast Pennsylvania. Mark Umfred. We lost him June 4th. He was 89 years old. Born in Wilkes-Barre, 1936. He was a proud graduate of James M. Coughlin High School, Wilkes-Barre, class of 54. His loyalty to his classmates remained strong throughout his life. He went on to serve his country in the United States Air Force, attaining the rank of Airman First Class. Mark fondly remembered his time stationed at air bases in Japan and often spoke of the experiences and friendships he made during his years of military service. Following that, he used the GI Bill to attend trade school, where he focused on printing. In doing so, he continued a family tradition established by his father and later shared by three of his brothers. Mark built a long, successful career in the printing industry. During his 31 years at offset paperback manufacturers in Dallas, he advanced through a variety of leadership positions, plant manager, others, before retiring in 2001 as director of pre-press operations. He loved golf, member of the Wyoming Valley Country Club, loved traveling with his wife, Maureen. Those who knew Mark will remember his strong work ethic, competitive nature, and unwavering devotion to family. He valued friendship, took pride in a job well done. He's lovingly remembered by his wife for 64 years, the former Maureen McHugh of Wilkes-Barre, his 3 sons, his 8 grandchildren, and his great-grandson, as well as other family members. Mark Umfred, our great veteran, this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Serenity Care Personal Care Community. AccuWeather forecast brought to you by the great gang at Montage Mountain Resort, where they've swung into summer. Summer's coming Sunday, but it's already here. If you're at Montage, the water park is open. Today, sunny to partly cloudy. Nice afternoon for outdoor activities, such as a water park. 76 degrees. Tonight, brief shower or two late, down to 54. Tomorrow, blend of sun and clouds with a thunderstorm in spots in the afternoon. Gusty winds can accompany any downpour, so be cautious. High 78, low 63. Thursday, clouds and breaks of sun, windy and humid with a heavy gusty thunderstorm somewhere. They can bring flash flooding and damaging winds. There will be no flash flooding on Montage Mountain. High 86, low 60. Friday, intervals of clouds and sunshine with a passing shower in the afternoon. 78 degrees, low 57. As we peek into the weekend, Saturday, mostly sunny and breezy at times. High 75, low 51. It is 66 degrees on Montage Mountain. I think that'll be our montage song. Mungo Jerry. Murph goes deep, baby. Mungo Jerry, this date 1970. The number one hit in the UK in the summertime. Bob Cordaro back with you. Scott says, LTS, Bob, back at you. But I got to tell you, that was funny what the body shop guy said about Michelle Obama. That got me laughing. Have a good day. And another says, come on, Bob, don't be ridiculous. Biden and Kamala had a wonderful policy. Don't. That is so much better than completely decapitating their leadership, blowing up all their ships, and strangling them financially. I know. Oh, Lord, 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 Lord. Oh, now here is a compliment. LTS, our listener, says, Bob, there's nothing but beer and women in life that make me as happy as your show. You put me up with beer and women, I'm pretty happy about that, believe me. Hey, let's go to the blower. We got Ray from Mountaintop. How are you, Ray?
Robert, even though your voice is a little raspy today, you make more common sense than a Barbara Streisand who couldn't find her backside with both hands make singing memories at the top of her lungs.
How about that pathetic thing with Bette Midler and Robert De Niro? Oh, my God. Why would you counter-program the UFC fight? It's just insane.
Just, you know what, Robert? It goes back to our catechism when we were kids in school, when we learned the 7 deadly sins, and envy and anger, and in their case, absolute blind hatred is totally self-destructive.
Yep.
And that's all it is. They are just blind haters. And the real tragedy in our beautiful northeastern Pennsylvania is, yes, there are some hardcore lefty socialists. They've become communists. And God only knows they need to be expunged. But for most of our wonderful neighbors who are Democrats, they just haven't recognized the fact that the party that they're a part of left them 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And we need to do everything we can. Yeah, it's hate the sin, but love the sinner.
Ray, you know what it was like? I'm a Star Trek fan, original Star Trek, by the way. When they go to warp speed, the Democrat Party was going left. And then they engaged in warp speed to the left under the Biden administration. And now they're gone. They're in another galaxy.
Just predicated on hate.
Yep.
And while we're talking about it, if you take the average family in northeastern Pennsylvania, you know, AI is amazing. You can ask it questions and get really incredible information. The average family in northeastern Pennsylvania, 4 people, $80,000 a year in adjusted taxable income, they spend about $2,500 on gas, $15,000 in taxes.
Yeah. Ray, hold with us through the break if you would. We've got to hear from the Bloomberg Money Minute. 10:50 on my Picardo's watch. RCA Records. They released David Bowie's hit album, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. Ziggy Stardust is the song, Murph tells us. It was this date, 1972. But this date, 2026, we got Ray from Mountaintop on the line. Ray, we got about a minute, my man. Fire away.
Robert, my whole thing is, you know, when they shoe horses, there's a device they put in their nose and they tighten it, and the horse, it's called a farrier, and the horse is so focused on the pain in their nose that they don't feel the shoes being put on. Well, that's the way the government treats us. We're told that everything is so expensive and everything, the magic word for the Democrats is affordable, affordable. Well, you know what? Whether I spend $3 for a gallon of gas or $4 a gallon for gas, I get a full gallon. Now let's talk about that family with $80,000 a year that spends $15,000 a year in taxes. Where does that money go? To Somalis? To the fraud in Los Angeles? To all the theft? They hate Elon Musk because Doge started to expose it. It's our government that's the challenge, not the oil companies. You give them the money, you get the gas.
Yep.
You give the government the money, what do you get? Close your eyes, tell me what you see. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And the Democrats can't wait to tax and tax and tax. They never met a tax that they didn't love. They never met a cause that they didn't want to take money out of the pockets of hardworking families who have enough challenges as it is, take it out of their pocket and give it to people who don't work, don't do anything, aren't positive, don't support our society. That's the problem. I don't care whether it's $3 or $4 a gallon. I'd like it to be $3, but it's the taxes and our government that's killing our families.
Amen. Ray, always a pleasure, my man. My Picardo watch says it's 11, so we got to go. But we love
Robert, you sound much better than Barbara Streisand. Much better.
You're no Bette Midler. It was Bette Midler.
Whatever.
The same idiocy. Yep, you know it. Thank you, man. Always a pleasure. 11 o'clock on my Picardo Jewelers Watch. We'll take a break. We'll be back after the news. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. You know it, baby. Great good morning, everyone. It's 11:09 a.m. on my Cordaro Jewelers watch. This beautiful Tuesday, June 16, year of our Lord 2026, here in the great Northeast, where the big boys are side by side at Steamtown, drawing hundreds of thousands. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and honor, with the help of our man John Basiliga and his great Serenity Care senior living facilities, the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like the veterans we salute today, having lost them earlier this year, like Mark Umfred, Wilkes-Barre, Gerald Mahalchik, Tunkhannock, and Harold Williams, Stillwater. So with history, our amazing founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order today's meeting of the Club for Common Sense, after a brief news adjournment, promising that our deep and unalterable commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity to all who hearken here for the balance of this gorgeous morning. So, somebody I follow, I think she's local, but it's called Laura Much Love. She posts this. Says things that triggered Democrats this past week. A clean reflecting pool. A name on a building. A murderer getting convicted of murder. A sporting event at the White House. A successful initial public offering. An African-American man becoming the world's first trillionaire. She really does nail it pretty much all the time. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. So, another thing I wanted to remind you. You know how we talk, and it reminds me of, and I want to get to a phone because Bill from Pittston's on the blower, and he's been very patient. But remind you of what is etched into stone at the Bloomsburg American Legion. It's called What is a Veteran? It says a veteran, and I add a few words, whether active duty, discharged, retired, or reserve, wartime or peacetime, is someone who at one point in his or her life wrote a blank check made payable to the United States of America for an amount of up to and including his or her life. That is honor. Now, you may have heard of it. You probably did by now. It was a B-52 crash. You think about the 8 souls serving this country that were lost in that crash. You're at risk if you're the company cook in peacetime. And you've written that blank check to the American people. And God bless those 8 we lost. Just wanted to mention them. Something else to mention, Roach Supply, premier bath and kitchen supplier in Northeast Pennsylvania. 75 years in business. Danny Roach told me his dad is 95 years old, still checks in at work every day. He'll talk business every day. Visit roachsupply.com today, ROCHE. Why are you the 75 years in business? How is that possible? Because you're great at what you do. You're honest. Your prices are great. Your service is great. Your product is great. That's Roach Supply. Bathroom, kitchen. Huge plumbing supplier as well. But for our purposes, bath and kitchen. Most important and most expensive parts of your house. Thank you to them. They bring us the live stream. You go to YouTube. You put Bob Cordaro Show, WILK, you'll find me. Today, I'm wearing one of my all-time great T-shirts. All-time great. It's a clothing line by my friend Chris Finazzo. I was in prison with him. He was wrongly convicted, had his conviction overturned, but he still served like almost 6 years. And he has a great book coming that he wrote because he was a town driver, meaning he drove people home from prison that were leaving prison. It's a great collection of stories about his unique take on prison. But he came up with an all-time clothing line. He invented, or he made Aeropostale what they were in his business day, and he's got his own now. Somebody asked, what does LTS mean? It means love the show. And then there's ALTS, always love the show. And then there's been some AALTSs, always love the show. So that's what it is. Now, one disgruntled listener says, Bob Cordaro was a woman. No, I take that back. Too much of an unworthy compliment. Now, what's interesting, the people that this guy supports don't know what a woman is, so I'm assuming he doesn't. So you can't throw that as an insult. My word. He says you get a wrestling match at the White House and a war dollars that he promised would not happen. The war killed soldiers. Same listener. The same disgruntled fool. The values of someone who did jail time judging others laughable. Well, I'm judging stupidity. And if you can't judge it, that may mean you're stupid. I can't. What else do you want me to say? Do you want a compliment? My word. Bob, by all means, please repeat today's show in the future, especially your talking points about the past and current aspects of the 47 years of the Iranian malfeasance against civilization as a whole. LTS, great job, Tenor Jim from Wilkes-Barre. Another, hi, Bob, LTS. When you are wrongly convicted and do 5, 6, 7 years, do you get compensated for the lost time in jail? No. The Supreme Court determined what Chris Finazzo did, it's actually worse than that. What the prosecution alleged he did was never a crime. And they say, oops. And there it is. Hey, let's go to Bill from Pittston. Bill, thanks for your patience, my friend.
No problem. Hey, that gentleman that designed this T-shirt, didn't you bring him out when you had the presentation at the studio?
You met him.
Yeah, I remember him well.
Yep, good
guy. Very nice stuff.
So he's got his all-time great website set up and all his clothing line ready, and he's going to expand on it. It's great stuff.
Yeah, well, anyway, I was talking to a friend of mine, and we came to the conclusion that Bibi and Donald are working together, good cop, bad cop, in case that Iran tries to back out of the deal. And Bibi can go in and Donald can rage, but at the same time, it allows us to hammer them if they mess around.
And that's Israel's right. And they've got the power and the capacity to do it, especially now that all the air defenses are gone. All their Navy is gone. All their capacity to create more havoc is they've got to start all over again. We're in a pretty damn good spot. It's good stuff.
Well, I really think they're working together. I think Bibi knows exactly what we're doing, and we know exactly what they're doing. It's just so that the world doesn't start pushing that Bibi's got Donald in his palm.
Interesting thought. Interesting thought. And by the way, it certainly could be. But either way, look we do what's in our interest and our allies' interest if it is essentially in ours. And this Iran incursion was exactly that. It was, people don't, the people that don't want to listen, they don't understand. If Iran detonated a nuclear weapon in Iran or elsewhere, and they had missiles with 2,500 miles range, so that means Paris was available, they could either blackmail or, in the case of Israel, use it and destroy the world economy. You think gas prices are high now? Have a nuke go off in the Middle East. My God, stop being silly. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Well, paying $4 or $5 for a gallon of gas it's a small sacrifice compared to what Trump's accomplished, stuffing Iran into a basket. If people can't suffer through something like that, what kind of patriotism is it? I mean, remember the gas lines was under Carter?
Yep.
That was much worse. And then this is a good cause, and we're winning. It's going to benefit everybody. And I'm just tired of people whining over small sacrifices.
And we don't know how to make them anymore. But remember who's whining. It is whiners. That's all they know how to do. That's literally all they know how to do. And they are not for America. Period. So,
Bob, quick question about Sean Hannity. I was watching his show last night. I think that guy's getting treatment with steroids. I've dealt with a number of people and my mother included. He has the same attributes in the bloating of the face, and I'm trying to check that out, but apparently other people have noticed that too. Have you heard anything about that?
No, but, I mean, there's also weight gain.
No, this isn't weight gain. This isn't
I know what you mean.
Yeah, I've seen it with my other family members, and it just was interesting. He even seemed to have a lack of energy.
I hadn't heard anything about it. I'm on steroids very low level for an issue I have. So, yeah, but if you're doing them heavy, that happens. Sure.
Yeah, I saw with my sister, she was almost unrecognizable after several months of treatment. And
yeah.
I've seen him too many times. But anyway, just wondered what you thought.
Well, hopefully he's well. We love him. He's good. He's not brilliant, but he's a good guy.
Yeah, you're right there. Anyway, your voice is getting a little better. You're getting your throat back.
I'm in a lather, Bill. You guys get me in a lather, but that's a good thing. All right, man. Thank you. We have to take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. Let's hear from our great sponsors. A little history, a little music, and then we're going to go back to the phones. Billy Preston. This date, 1973. He moved, Murph tells us, from number 14 to number 7 with his hit, Will It Go Round in Circles? Bob Cordaro back with you on the eponymous program. Let's go to Frank in Scranton. Frank, how are you, brother?
Hey, I'm okay, Bob. I haven't spoken to you in quite a while.
Good to hear you.
Yeah, well, I've been going through some crazy stuff for the last 9 months. But that's besides the point.
Did you make it through? You're okay?
So far.
All right, good.
But I think I'm being tested because I get one thing after another. But anyway, I just wanted to call and let you know I was up at Sam's Club the other day and I met a friend of yours, and a very nice gentleman and a good listener. You know how I like to talk about experiences. You know what I went through with rolling the truck over and military service and all that stuff. I told him, I said, I'm going to write a book someday. And he says, you should do that. I'll have to tell you. It was Elmo Baldessari.
Oh, my buddy Elmo.
I've never met him before. And I'll tell you what, he's a very nice fellow. Like I said, he's a good listener. I don't know if he's just being kind, to listen to me because I was emptying out on him. And, the things that I'm going through.
He's a
right
doctor.
Now.
They are good listeners. To be a good doctor, you got to be a good listener. So he is.
Yeah. I enjoyed my wasn't really a conversation. It was one-sided. I was basically telling him what I was going through and stuff like that. And he was very receptive. But I just wanted to call and say hi because I hadn't spoken
I'm happy
to him
you did.
Yeah. But
you don't need a topic. Listen, this is a large dysfunctional family, Frank. We love to hear from each other. We love to know everybody's okay. We really do.
Yeah, well, that's how I am with my fellow veterans. We talk to each other. And we have a little breakfast, which I haven't attended in probably 9 months, down at the warehouse down in Southside, the Warehouse Restaurant, every second Wednesday. But I haven't been there in such a long time. Every now and then, the guys that come on Facebook and ask me if I'm okay, and stuff like that, because I haven't been there. But we all have our problems.
Well, you hang in there, man. I'm sorry to hear all that. Yeah, sorry to hear all that.
Yeah. Well, I told one of my veteran friends the other day, I said, I know I'm being tested. I said, but what I'm going through, I says, I think I'd rather be in combat where I can take it out on the enemy, take out my anger and frustrations on the enemy. I says, because, I get so upset sometimes. I use bad language, which I never used to use. Even when I was a platoon sergeant, I never hollered bad words at my men. I used to make them do a lot of push-ups, but I never belittled them or anything.
Yeah.
I would not use the F word, stuff like that. But lately I've been doing it. I've been using it, and I go to confession. I tell the priest every time I go, I say the same thing, Father. I'm just so angry and frustrated at what's been going on in my life. I says, and the people in the cars on the road, half of them don't know how to drive. I don't know how they got licenses. I says, and the stuff that they do just gets me angry, and I don't holler at them or give them the finger or anything like that. I'm not like that. But I had a young guy challenge me the other day because it's down on where I live in my street. It's a 3-way stop sign, and these people go through all of those stop signs without even slowing down. And I was making the left turn onto Brick Avenue, and this girl come flying through on Parker Street, and I had to slam the brakes on, and I followed her, and she went through the next stop sign. And then she got to West Market, and she went through there and pulled into the gas station. I guess she was in a hurry. She thought she was running out of gas. I don't know. But I stopped my car, and I got out. I went over, and I tapped on her window, and she rolled her window down, and I said, you just went through 3 stop signs. I says, that's illegal. You can't do that. I says, what are you going to do if a kid runs out between a couple cars or something? I says, how are you going to explain that to the cops? I says, you're going to maybe kill some kid, but you don't care. You're in a hurry to get to your gas station. So then this guy who was on the other side of the pumps, he says to me, he says, what are you doing getting in that girl's face? He says, you do that to me. He says, you'll be on the ground. I said, yeah, okay. I'm 82 years old. If he said that to me 10 years ago, he'd be on the ground. I'm not as strong as I used to be. But I mean, I don't like when people challenge me. And I was tempted to go over and say, okay, knock me down. I've done that before, but I give him the first punch. I always did. And I'm just a little.
No,
guy.
you can't do that anymore.
No, it's you end up getting stabbed.
Yeah.
Like that poor kid that at the.
Down in Texas, yeah.
Yeah, he pushed a kid he told him several times to get out of the tent. He didn't belong there, and this guy challenged him, and he pushed him. The guy said, "Go ahead, lay your hands on me." So he did, and then the kid come back with a friggin' knife and stabbed him in the heart. And then, I'm watching the news and Fox. I like to watch Fox. I don't give a crap what anybody says. But there's Omar, and she's saying it wasn't a big knife. How the hell does that matter? The kid's dead.
Yeah.
What's wrong with these people? Are they sick in the mind?
Yes.
Oh,
That's
my
the
God.
answer. Yes.
That is the answer.
And so be cautious of them. They're devoid of any relationship with fact, truth, and reality. And they're living in their own world, so be cautious. Hey, Frank, we got to go because I got a veterans tribute, but good to hear from you. Hang in there, man. Keep in touch.
Yeah. Say a prayer for my daughter.
I will. I will do
thank
that.
you.
All right, man. Frank from North Scranton. Let's take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We will be back with our veterans tribute. Our veterans tribute this hour, as with every hour, this day, as with every day, brought to you by our man, John Basiliga. It's Tuesday, so we always talk about and love to talk about his Serenity Care personal care community. 4 senior living facilities. Mid-Valley section of Lackawanna County, Old Forge at the southern tip, Wyoming, and Kingston. Dementia care units at the Mid-Valley and Kingston locations. He's completely renovated them. They're gorgeous. They're clean. It's dignity for seniors, your family member, yourself. All-inclusive monthly rent. Individually controlled heating and cooling. Each room. Medication administration, safe storage. Daily housekeeping and laundry. Freshly prepared restaurant quality meals. Elegant common areas. Place to live in dignity. The class of senior care and senior living in Northeast Pennsylvania. Harold Williams. He was 80. Veteran, former employment office manager. He was from Stillwater. We lost him June 1st. Born in Plymouth, graduate of Northwest High School. He was last employed as a manager at the Pennsylvania Office of Employment Compensation. He proudly served his country by serving in the U.S. Army during the Vietnam War. He loved cooking for his family, sharing recipe, avid sports fan. His humor, intelligence, and dedication to his family will be sorely missed by all those who got to know and love him. Surviving, his wife, Mary Coast Williams, 3 daughters, 10 grandchildren in whom he took immense pride, nieces, nephews, and other family members. Harold Williams, our great veteran this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and his great Serenity Care senior living facilities. AccuWeather forecast brought to you by the gang at Montage Mountain. The water park is open and it's happening. It's relaxing. It's cool. The food is great. The whole package. Today, sunny to partly cloudy. Nice afternoon for outdoor activities like a water park. High 76. Tonight, a brief shower. Probably late. Low 54. Tomorrow, blend of sun and clouds. Possible thunderstorm in spots sometime during the afternoon. Gusty winds can accompany any downpour. High of 78, low 63. Thursday, clouds and breaks of sun. Windy and humid with a heavy gusty thunderstorm. Storms can bring flash flooding and damaging winds. High 86, low 60. Friday, intervals of clouds and sunshine with a passing shower in the afternoon. 78 degrees, low 57. Saturday, mostly sunny and breezy at times. High 75, low 51. Perfect weather all week for our great friends at Montage and the water park up there. 69 degrees as I speak at Montage. Day 184, Biden banner. Biden banner disgrace. Stolen valor. A hometown hero banner was paid for and put up by the Green Ridge Neighborhood Association, disgracing themselves and their neighborhood when they're supposed to be doing the opposite. They were told it was for veterans. They voted 10-5 to keep it up anyway, and it still stands 184 days plus later. Well, Green Ridge Neighborhood Association, as disgusting as you are, I want to thank you because you give me the opportunity to remind everyone how horrible Joe Biden was and is. So thank you for something, but for very little. Don't debase our veterans and their service. You're a disgrace. Green Ridge Neighborhood Association, take the banner down. So whenever I go to talk about something sucky like the Green Ridge Neighborhood Association, I've got, or those who support the Biden banner, the dummycrats, the idiots, I would love to do something good. So naturally, I'm going to go to Mother Teresa next, but this is something good too. There's Murph tells us there's a lunchtime at Pocket Park. All right, next to Two Brothers, right in the Dunmore Corners. Brian McGurl, Phil Rossi. They're playing 11:45 to 3 o'clock on Friday, June 19th. That's this Friday. Two of our best. 11:45, 3 p.m. It's free. Dunmore Corners. Lunchtime at Pocket Park. Great stuff. For those of you who are ancient like me, it's the site of the old Deweys. So, lunchtime at Pocket Park, McGurl and Rossi. I mean, you don't get better musicians than that. You get them as good because we've got a great area for all of that. But them together, it's worth seeing. 11:45, 3 o'clock. Friday, if Murph reminds me, we'll talk about it again. And let's go quickly. I know Mary Regina sent it to me. Here it is. I don't want to forget about Mother Teresa, St. Teresa, for June 16th. The Biden disgust is so awful that we've got to go to two good things. One good thing and now one great holy thing. That's St. Teresa for June 16th. She says, riches can suffocate if they are not used in the right way, whether they are spiritual riches or material. There's the difference between, just for example, a Muslim practicing their religion faithfully and an Islamist, the ones who are taking over our politics and trying to take over our country. There's the difference. If not used in the right way, whether they're spiritual riches or material. Thank you, St. Teresa. The wisdom is off the charts. And by the way, wouldn't that provide the ultimate wisdom to be amongst the poorest of the poor and the people with the worst situation? All right, before we go to break, let's get to Pat from Scranton. How are you, Pat?
I'm doing well, Bob. You sounded better.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Speaking of musicians, Brian McGurl and Phil Rossi are lifelong friends of mine and musicians, co-musicians. So I wanted to give you some advice for your throat. Blackberry brandy, sip it.
Okay.
You know, you don't have to go on a bender.
Hey, Pat, the last time I sipped booze was a long time ago, probably when I was a baby, but I'll try it.
That's what singers do.
Blackberry brandy.
I was raised in a musical family, as you might remember.
Yeah.
But speaking of Mother Teresa, and I always love to hear the quotes, my mother was in charge of bringing her to the Diocese of Scranton.
Wow.
My mother was the secretary for the chancery of the Diocese of Scranton, and she brought Mother Teresa to Scranton and had her photo taken with my family.
Oh my gosh! Were you in the
and
photo?
I have a photo, and I just left Monsignor Esses, who heard. I just left his daily mass, who heard Saint Mother Teresa's confession. I mean, what did she have to confess? Did she forget to feed one poor person? I mean, what the heck could she have to confess?
And Pat, by the way, I don't know if you knew this. Jerry Featherby, who helps run the ARC thing, she had me do a little statement because we dealt with Monsignor Esseff during my days running the prison, Lackawanna County Prison. He was a great advocate for the prisoners, so we love the guy.
I see Jerry all the time.
Yeah, well, he was a great guy. He is a great guy, man.
Yeah.
All right, so you got to meet Mother. You got to meet Saint Teresa.
No. Monsignor Esseff heard her confession.
He heard her confession. I thought your mother had a picture with her.
He dined with Saint Padre Pio more than once.
Oh my gosh!
And Father Pio Mandato, who consecrated him, is coming to St. Paul's Parish on the 20th. He touched Monsignor's, St. Pio's glove to my father's head the night before he passed.
Oh my gosh!
It was, and he said, "It's not God's will, Joe. It's not your will. It's God's." And my father was flipping windmills all night long, and then he passed the next morning at 5:00 in the morning.
Huh.
Yeah. Wow. Father Pio Mandato at St. Paul's on the 20th of June.
Amazing. Well, Pat, thank you for the tip. I won't be singing anywhere.
Little tiny sips of blackberry brandy will fix you up, my brother.
All right, thank you, Pat. Appreciate it, man. Bloomberg Money Minute. It's 11:50 on the Picardo's watch. Oh, the Bulldog went right to the finisher. Nickelback, Murph tells us. This date, 2007, moved up to number 6 with their hit Rockstar. I always liked this song. I did. Bob Cordaro back on the eponymous program. Marco Rubio pointed out Joe Biden hired 87,000 IRS agents, and not a single one of them found Somali fraud. How is that possible? It's a joke. Hey, thanks to Roach Supply. Put me on YouTube. Smiling, scowling, yelling, screaming, all of that. They are the premier bath and kitchen supplier in Northeast Pennsylvania. Veteran-owned, 95-year-old Ron Roach. 3 generations working side by side. 75 years in business. That means they're great. That means they're honest. That means they know what they're doing and can take care of your kitchen and bath issues. Visit Roach Supply, ROCHE, supply.com today. And a final mention, our gal Tina Morocco. She is your trusted Florida real estate source. You can reach her at Sotheby's International, Naples, Florida, or Tina Morocco, MURACCO.com for her website, or Tina Morocco, MURACCO, on any website. Guys, where does the time go? This is crazy. I can't even believe it. By the way, I had to have a little extra mulberry bush honey today because, by the way, it isn't hurting me. I hope it's not hurting your ears too much, my rasp. Somebody texts in that General Jack Keane hates the deal, meaning the Iran deal. Straight shooter, you know it's bad. I haven't heard it yet. I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to listen to critique. We will see. By the way, somebody else pointing out, Oak and Main Street gas station. I'm assuming Scranton, $3.79 a gallon. Fascinating. Somebody texts in, are McGurl and Rossi playing for Juneteenth? Hardy har har. Hey, I just realized we're not on the air on Friday. That's a company holiday. I can't be on the air on Friday, Juneteenth. So I'm off Friday. I'm going to go see Rossi and McGurl. Bob, somebody texted, I love hearing our cousin Marco on the air. So proud of our heritage and the music talent that goes back to our great-grandparents. That was Pat Marcinko. Pat Marcinko. You got to hear these guys. Tonight. Is that tonight? Yeah. Tuesday Night Jazz at Villa Maria 2. 6 to 8:30 p.m. Timeless jazz, in the moment, to the point, vanishing point, tonight at Villa Maria 2. How about that? Isn't that great? They are great. I've heard them. Love them. Thanks for somebody sending that along. All right, guys, I got to go. My Picardo Jeweler's watch says it's over, whether I like it or not. So, with any further ado, I will gavel to a close today's meeting of the Club for Common Sense. God willing, I'll be with you tomorrow. But we are adjourned.